Welcome to the Board of Health meeting on September 14th, 2022 at 6 PM. Can I have a roll call, please?
James Queer.
Gavin Byers.
And Chris Nosella. We will note that Gavin is on remote today. We will start with additions, deletions. Kyle, I don't think we have any, do
I
we?
have a question.
Oh, yes,
The
sir.
tobacco on number 1.10, is that going to include the tobacco suspension?
No,
We got an update
no,
on
that actually is,
We could include it in
you
that.
can, yeah?
We
You
can.
have the?
But there really is no update, but we'll,
Yeah.
we'll put it under there, we can speak
Yeah.
about
We'll
it.
Just curious if
Sure,
it's being
yeah.
followed through to
Yes,
make it happen.
yes.
I
But
haven't heard anything about it yet.
I do believe that we were supposed to take off COVID, Rick, correct?
Up to the board. So I do have a update tonight, but
You do?
Up to
Yeah.
the board as far as the future goes.
Alright, well, let's keep it on there then.
Yeah, let's stay with it for now.
Okay,
I mean, it's not hurting anything. It gets less and less easier, but it's just there for the public so they can, be informed a little bit.
okay, great.
Okay? 1.8 is permanently deleted.
No, but that's what we were just talking about, the COVID update,
Oh, that's COVID,
we
1.8.
were going to take it off, but if Rick's got an update, then.
Well, yes, we can do it for today, I guess. I mean, we still have cases in town, so.
Shouldn't take long, not a big
No, I
deal.
wouldn't think so. I don't know if I really want to delete that or not yet. I mean, it's still something,
Mhm.
you know? I mean, we don't need to know how many people get shots, that's pretty much leveled out anyway, so. Just cases in town, I think. Don't even really care much, Rick, about what the state does, just what's in town,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, make your life a little easier. Okay, so, we are going to 1.3. 22 Sauna Row Road, septic update with variances, continued from August 24th. Where do we want to go with this?
I have a motion to reopen the meeting.
Oh, okay. Can I get a motion to reopen the meeting?
I make a motion to reopen 22 Sauna Row Road.
I'll second that. All in favor?
All right, you haven't heard that?
I think he said aye, he mumbled.
Okay.
Was that an aye, Gavin?
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
Want to pull a chair up?
I would love to.
Okay, so we'll start with our engineer here, Jim. We'll let you deal with that since you are our expert on the septics.
So here we've got the updated plan. To review again, this is a Presby Advanced Enviro Septic System, STU equivalent. So it is the equivalent of a jet fast, not a nitrogen reduction, but a secondary treatment unit. We have updated since the last plan. We've done a few things. We shifted from the road 15 feet, so instead of 3, we're right around 18 with the edge of the tank to the road. We also added the scale profile,
Fantastic.
which was requested, and it shows the new grade, which is essentially the same, but it does show a 2% pitch, which is required by Title V to ensure that all runoff runs off the field correctly. We also added a note that runoff should pitch towards the back of the lot, as opposed to toward the property lines.
Very nice.
The only other change was the surveyor's lines were added in place of mine. It's not really a change because they were the same.
Very nice.
Which is nice to see from me.
What do you think of that, Rick?
So I haven't, did you drop hard copies off at our office? I just didn't get them in my hands yet, so I'll have to take a look at them. But it still, looks like, really the same system, just pushed back farther like you guys had asked for. So, Presby's in the same exact spot, or that got pushed back like, what, 10 or 15 feet?
The Presby and tank both moved 15.
Okay.
Yeah. The other pieces at 25 Sauna Row Road, I believe, were in contact or maybe had Skillings and Sons out, and they looked into the well, and it's actually a driven well as opposed to a drilled.
Oh, okay.
So it's in the pipe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's more or less, everything else has stayed almost the same. We picked up a few inches on this property line to the tank. Just a function of the fact that it opens up from 20 feet to 25 in the back, or 28 or whatever.
2860.
Yep.
All right, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's exactly what you asked for.
Everything stayed H20.
Yep.
So all of we've got the fabric over the Previes, we've got the tank and the distribution box all labeled as H20 loading.
Okay.
And all the other variance requests.
How are you, Rick?
are the same.
So like I said, I want to take a look over it, so I don't have a permit tonight, because I hadn't seen this, the hard copies of this yet.
Okay.
So, I'd let the audience have their discussion part of it too, if they'd like to. And then, if you guys are otherwise okay with it, just, give me the chance to look at it.
Good,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
So we'll open it up to the audience. If you have any questions, raise your hand and we'll get to you.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, so I'm Karen Ducharme. I'm next door at 25.
Mhm.
And because I've had a long couple of days at work, I figured I'd write things down to keep my thoughts straight. A few things I'd like to comment on, and then I have a few questions. At the last meeting, I was quick to be dismissed and asking why the current system was not properly tested to deem it in failure. I was told that everyone has a right to upgrade their system, fair enough. The reason I feel this is important to bring up again is that the proposed system has many variances that are being asked for, and 2 out of the 3 abutters don't approve. So to me, it's reasonable to think about using the current system, or at least testing it. I was taken by surprise at the last meeting when in the beginning of Evan making his proposal, you quickly jumped up to make a motion to move the 15 feet closer to my well. In spite of the fact that even that Evan verified the current system can be parked on, you offered no rationale for your motion. My husband's a professional engineer that deals with city and town municipalities to include water and wastewater. His concerns are contaminants. I'm a healthcare provider and have the same water quality concerns. I believe your response to my husband's questions were that my well is constructed in such a way that it is fine, and yes, it's my well because it's my issue down the road if anything happens. I called my well company and verified that it's not constructed as you said. My husband had an email exchange and made recommendations for Evan to keep, that would keep the system where the Potseds wanted it, which is the farthest away from our well possible, and being a good neighbor, we would have approved. A win for both of us. So my questions are this. The slope off the road on Pottshead's Narrow property is steep. I believe your worry was parking and plow trucks. Evan reassured us the system would support parking. My guess is that you have not seen the property, but due to the grade and small width, a plow truck would never have reason to be on it. Why did you pick 15 feet?
That gave the distance to be, any vehicle that was put on the property for any reason, even though it's an H20, would not be in any position to be on top of that tank. It's not going to be disturbed at all.
Yeah, so Evan reassured us that even the existing initial proposal would not be an issue parking on it. So I'm curious why you moved it 15
It's
feet
a matter of,
closer.
it's a matter of the fact that I've been out in the field many years and I've installed the water systems, and to get the tank and the system back a little bit further, which is the 15 feet was the magic number. There is going to be no issue with your well. We've actually had places where we've had to go less than that distance for the leaching system in this town in previous scenarios. So it's still my opinion as a past professional to being on the Board of Health for the number of years that I've been here, that this is still a better way to set it up than it was originally.
Okay, so that leads to my second question. With regards to water quality and my family's health, there are evidence-based reasons why there's a 100-foot setback for wells, and my well is not constructed as you reassured. What are your credentials, and how can you be sure that my well, which is downhill from their proposed septic, will remain safe for me and my family in the future?
I don't think anybody can guarantee anything in that fashion. There's nobody around that can preach for God. God's the one that's in control of that.
Your rationale previously was that we had a different type of well.
I was making the assumption that your well was down with the solid pipe. What did you say this was, Rick?
It's, Evan said it's a point well, so it's a driven point well.
It's a driven point well.
Yeah.
I misheard
Yeah,
you.
we
there are no
actually
still-
asked you, and we were told it was an artesian well.
I did not answer that
No.
question.
They didn't
Someone
know.
said it was an artesian
Nobody
well.
did.
Yeah.
You did?
Here,
Yeah, someone did.
Oh,
We,
they-
we can actually,
Oh.
look it up on the tapes another time, but someone said that was an artesian well. Where Jim had said that the way an artesian well works is it goes down
Right.
the
So it's
pipe- the-
not?
Yeah,
It's
well,
not.
that's what we were told, so
Mhm.
that's why we went on that assumption,
Mhm, mhm.
okay? Now that you've changed your thing, we still have we have any evidence of what it actually is, or
And I
So,
did not
yeah.
say it was an artisan, Larry
No,
did say
I-
that his is an artisan, I did not speak up to
someone
say that I
said it
don't
was an
know.
artesian because we have that, we
My
can
son,
look at it,
Ephesians.
okay? Anyway, Rick, what do we?
So, just that, I guess Skilling's had gone out and verified the construction to be that driven point well.
It's a point well, how deep?
Typically, they're 20, 25 feet deep.
Okay.
It would have to be farther than that because it's that part of the pond water table.
Did they give you an idea of how deep it
It-
was?
He said 80 feet,
Oh, 80 feet, that's a
Yeah.
pretty deep driven well, yeah.
yeah. So that's my concern.
Okay.
I worry about my water because if you approve it today, that's all well and good. If something happens to my family, because we have to take out the nitrates and the nitrates down the road, it's my problem. So I just don't understand the rationale for moving it 15 feet where the initial proposal was appropriate. It fit with variances and it was farthest from our well, which 100 feet is the law, right? And you're looking for a variance for 78 feet. I think that's fair. But to move it 15 feet for whose,
And if you went,
Benefit.
if you took a triangle right now and you went for the surface area, which is 67 and it's down 80-something feet, even to the far corner of this system, it's still over 100 feet to your well.
to your point though, it's not a driven cased well. So
My point has been changed, my point was what we had heard. And
Right.
what I'm saying now is even though it's not a casing down, which would been the perfect scenario, that it's a driven well, but the distance you have below ground from where the corner of the field is still gonna be over 100 feet. That's going down just the way, the triangle.
Right.
And this system here isn't going to help. The effluent that goes into that facility, the system itself is gonna be purified within 6 feet of the ground anyway.
So why is there a 100-foot rule?
That somebody put that in years and years ago where it came from, I can't answer that question. But once again, we have other places in town where we've had to work with people with their septic systems, and they've been closer than what we are right here.
But that doesn't make it okay or safe, right? That's just
We
what
have to
you
work
decide
for
upon.
everybody. If it was you that was doing the septic system and the neighbor was sitting here doing the same thing, people have the right to make comments and ask questions, but we as the board have done a lot of these over the years, and I'm still confident that the decision that I made is the best effort for everybody.
Okay.
So,
And your credentials are not that you're a healthcare professional or provider, your credentials are that you put in septic
I was a
systems.
septic installer and a Title V inspector, yes.
Okay, so you don't know the health benefits?
Nothing to do with health benefits,
Okay.
no.
All right.
But that's why I've been sitting on this board for all these years also.
Mhm, mhm. That's why I'm just questioning.
Do I recall from last meeting that our cesspool is untestable since it's hardly been used at all in the last 14 years? It's used, the people who used it came up several weekends a summer, and they had another dwelling in the woods, which is where they lived, where they slept, and used their septic system up there. So the one that we're talking, the cesspool, has been virtually unused for all these years.
Okay, Rick, you'd have to
So,
answer
yeah, I
that.
mean, I wouldn't call it, whatever you said, uninspectable. You could certainly inspect it. It doesn't make it any easier when it hasn't seen much use. The inspector's got to use their best professional judgment as far as staining on the walls and different things, but it could still be inspected.
Not that we wanted inspected, just because we thought this was better to do, if we did it. But it would be, seems like it would be worse to have a cesspool going toward their well than this system going to their well.
I mean, the manufacturer was, I mean, not that anybody would, does say, not even with the STU equivalent, but with the standard AES, they say, well, you could drink it if you wanted to. what comes out after the sand, but that's just a small tidbit.
Personally, I wouldn't try it.
I wouldn't do it. They say that as well, but the numbers with the BOD
Yeah.
and TSS, that's what they're referring to.
Yes, Gavin, if you do the input. Okay, Gavin, you have anything to say?
Jesus. That's my
No, I'm
point.
just-
You're all set?
He's just listening. He said he's listening, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's time to move it. I don't know, any other questions?
Yeah, anybody else have anything? All right, we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve 22 Sauna Row Road with the, you wanna name off all the,
Yeah, the,
I'm having a brain cramp, I apologize. The variances, right?
yes, I was looking,
What are there, 3 of them? Or 4?
For variances?
yeah.
Oh,
You could refer to the plans to say,
Yeah.
as listed on the,
Okay, referring to the plan as drawn.
Okay, can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
So moved.
and then as far as a permit goes, I just, like I said, I want the opportunity just to look at the plan to make sure all those changes are good. And then, do you want me to type up a permit for the next meeting, or do you want me to sign a permit if that review goes well?
If there's an issue, maybe he should let us know what the issue is, but I don't think we're gonna find that. And other than that, why can't we just sign this out of meeting?
We can, yeah, we can do that.
Rick,
Actually,
for you.
Rick can actually do it for us.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Okay, you need a motion for that?
No.
No, okay. So we're all set to go on this one, I think.
Okay,
thank you all for your time.
thank you.
Nice job, thanks for the specific details on that also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we have 1.4, 5 Turnpike Road, housing update, Rick.
Alright, so,
Good enough.
Yep.
so the last time we met, I believe Adam was just getting ready to file in court, which was done. And then they actually went in front of the judge. And received an order. It was 9/6/22 that they went in front of the judge. He issued a handwritten interim preliminary order and preliminary injunction. It read that by the defendant shall immediately and no later than the close of business on 9/8/22 clear all fire exits, including doors and windows. A person can exit even if on the second floor. The Townsend Police Department is requested to and required to accompany the defendant and either a state, regional, county, or local public health office official, I think it says. Contact the clerk for court guidance in case of doubt. So I had met the owner, Mr. Lee, over there on September 8th, and he worked towards clearing all those egresses. Jim had come over for an hour or so and helped as well. And so by the end of that, I wrote up a report, and it essentially said that all of those egresses had been cleared, but there were still sanitary code violations in all the rooms and general filth. So Adam actually went back to court yesterday and submitted my report as well as pictures that I had taken of each of the egresses. And the new order reads that the owners of the property at 5 Turnpike Road, Unit 220 in Townsend are ordered by the close of business on 9/20/22 to remove all sources of odors of an offensive nature that cause odor outside of the unit. Each room is allowed 1 trash can or bucket-like containers limited to the following rooms: 2 bedrooms, bathrooms, living room, kitchen. All containers that appear to contain urine must be disposed of within 24 hours. The table in the next to last photo must be cleared or washed with spray cleaner or soap and water. In case of dispute, contact the clerk for instructions from the court. The police are requested to be available at the time of entry. And I think the table he's talking about is actually a bed
Oh,
in
really?
that back bedroom. Yeah, it's a bed. So by 9:20, the owner will have to go back in with a police officer to clean, and I'm assuming that we'll have to go and do a re-inspection after that for the court. But this one doesn't specifically say that we've gotta be there as
You'll
part
have
of
to
the
be there for that one, that's good then,
So that's kind of where things stand.
okay.
And then they've got a notice to appear again on 9/26, will be the next court date.
Okay. Any questions? Gavin?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, good. Anything else there, Rick?
That's it for 5 Turnpike Road.
Okay, let's move on. We'll go to 1.5, 96 Fitchburg Road, septic upgrade with variances.
That's me.
You can bring a chair up if you like.
Yeah, I'll grab that. Thank you. So for the record, Jim Seal, Goldsmith Press and Ringwall. On behalf of the applicant, Al Mariano, we've prepared a septic plan for 96 Fitchburg Road, located on the easterly side of the roadway. Currently, there's a single-family, 3-bedroom dwelling on the property. It's currently serviced by an existing system, which is in a state of failure. We're proposing a Presby system to replace that, provide advanced treatment. While testing, this test pit over here, 921-3, was found to have less than the 4 feet of naturally occurring pervious materials required. Under the remedial use letter for Presby, we're requesting a reduction to 3.25 feet for that. Also under the remedial use letter, we'd like to request a reduction of the groundwater. We can, the letter allows for up to 2 feet of reduction, but that's excessive for what we're trying to achieve. We'd like to request still a 1 foot groundwater reduction to go from the 5 feet separation to 4 feet. Mainly so that the system can sit a little bit lower and that the final grades will blend a little bit better onto the lot and won't sit as high compared to the road, and will kind of allow for some drainage patterns to form around the system.
10 feet off the road?
That's the minimum. I do have a scale, but
You know where it is, right?
Yeah, I know exactly which one that is.
Yeah.
Just wondering if it's near where the horses were.
No.
No, I can, no, horses were back
They
there.
were back off the driveway.
but if you guys want me to go into detail anywhere on here,
I know the site very well.
Mm.
I'm surprised you even got that hole that deep.
wasn't me personally, but yeah.
Were you there for this one, Rick?
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
As far as the testing goes, it was definitely the best location to put the system. I mean, I think that we had done a couple more farther down, but the depth decreased as we were going that direction.
It's my opinion, Mr. Chairman, that for what they've drawn here, they don't have much option. And the way everything, you get the main road here, everything is upsloped on this side, it's all ledge and rock over there, and then down here it goes the same way, so it's gotta do the best job it can right in that location.
Okay. And your variance is just for the water table and the,
The naturally occurring
Yeah.
pervious
Yeah,
material.
two of them, but you're only gonna see that right at the end of the rainstorm or the
Right.
end of the thaw in the spring, because other than that, it's gonna run up to rock.
yep,
Got no place to go.
all right. Gavin, you have any questions?
No questions.
You're awful quiet today. Rick, do you have something?
So, I don't know, did you get to those last revisions or?
So, I mean, as far as like, the 2-inch drop, I was talking with Nick about it in our office, and so the Presby pipe, the way he described it, is like, it's not exactly the 12 inches, it's 11.5 inches, and then the ring around is like a 1/2 inch, so it's more 10 inches that you're working with, which is why we designed it for the 6.5 inches of separation versus the 7. If that is like kind of like something that we need to adjust, like, we're already pumping up to the D.
Yeah, so, as long as by the end, whatever your as-built elevation shot are, at least that 2-inch drop,
Yeah.
2% slope, then it's fine. But I just got this plan today, I looked it over, and I just found a couple other things. One was with the Presby system specifically, they require a 2-inch and 2% drop from the D-box into the Presby pipe. and it seemed like it was a little bit shy based on the dimensions in the design manual. And then the other one was just pushing out the contour lines, just, it's not much, it's really just a tiny little bit, but it seemed like it was a little short as far as breakout goes, so pushing those contour lines downhill just a tiny bit. But other than that, the system is gonna be exactly the same as it's shown on there. And so, kind of similar to the 22 Sonoro Road, once those revisions come in, if you're okay with me issuing a permit, then I'll do that, but the plan's really not gonna change much.
I think for what there's to work with, I'm surprised you got it in that location, I really am. But that's good. That's good.
Do you have any public comments on this? No? Okay. Okay, Gavin's just listening. He doesn't have any comments.
You guys are happy, I'm happy.
Okay,
All right.
you need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve 96 Fitchburg Road, Southern Mass, with the provisions are provided by the engineer.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Okay.
so moved. Okay,
Thank you for your time.
you're welcome.
I think I did, you there, see Gavin? I hit his button. Oh, you did, I thought I cut you off, sorry. I'm glad you still, we would have to play phone tag.
Okay, let's move to 1.6 would be 21 Wheeler Road, water results and property transfer. Rick.
So I'll kind of give a little background on this. There was a Title V inspection done on the property by Bill Schultz, and the Title V inspection required a water test because the well was greater than 50 feet, but within 100 feet of the septic system. And so Bill had called me asking about testing the well and who had to do it as far as Title V was concerned. And I told him Title V doesn't have a water testing requirement as far as chain of custody, but Townsend requires a pressure well testing prior to transfer of title, so it seemed to make sense to just use that report. The owners then forwarded me a copy of the report that was done by a home inspector. Issue with that one was that it was collected by the home inspector, not by myself or the Board of Health or an employee of a DEP certified lab, so it didn't meet that requirement, and it also didn't test for all the parameters that your regs require. Mr. Reed, who's the owner, had called me and set up a water test, which we did on Friday last week, I believe. So I'm hoping to have results back, hopefully by the end of this week or early next week. The issue is just that right now we don't have them, but that initial test that they had done did show a high radon level. And so I know they're working towards a mitigation system for that. But we don't know what the other results may look like, and we're not guaranteed that our test is going to show the same results. So what they're looking to do is to close, I believe. I don't know what the date is, so hopefully they can provide you with that. But they get the responsibility of the buyer to resolve whatever water issues may come up as a result of the testing, within whatever period of time you feel it would be acceptable.
So is this something that we could talk with the buyer and the seller to see if they could agree on this will be ratified?
So I know the buyers are here, or the sellers are buyers here too, so they're all here. They're both here.
Yeah, is that something that we can do?
So we've done it before, I can think of maybe 3 times at least that you guys have done it.
Yeah.
And I had sent Carla the language that we used on the last one for a property on Warren Road, which she forwarded to their closing attorney. So he has that language, so it is something that you've done in the past. And it was basically a tri-party agreement between the Board of Health, the buyer, and the seller.
Is this something we need in writing, or is this something we can do because we have the camera?
I think, yeah, so you'd want to do something in writing.
Yeah.
Just to protect all the parties.
Okay, hang on one second.
You want to show that to Rick too?
Yeah. Do you have another copy of this?
I also have a copy of the estimate.
Yeah. Rick, why don't you take a peek at this? Jim, I'll let you take a look at it. I used to get my name on it. All right, so basically this is telling us that you guys are all good with the, you know,
The plan.
you're taking care of whatever is left over, okay? You,
So,
agree with that?
when's your closing set for?
A week from tomorrow.
Okay, so I guess, you know, my only concern with how it's written now is that it only addresses the radon,
Right.
and we don't have the results to show that everything else is acceptable at this point. And so I guess, you know, my suggestion would be to redraft the document or not, you know, based on what the actual results come back as. You know, hopefully we have that by the end of this week, or Monday at the latest. But that would be my only concern, is that that's not specifically addressed in the letter. I mean, you could address it with some generic language that, you know, whatever, your contaminants above the max level as defined in the Townsend well regs or something like that. Just so, you know, everything is addressed and resolved.
So do you think this is something that we need to do before we vote on this?
I think you could vote on the idea of allowing them to sign a tri-party agreement to resolve whatever the issues are. It'd just be a lot easier if we could, you know, actually identify those issues.
Okay.
Just quickly by way of update, we've already initiated a bidding process for the mitigation system. We've selected a vendor. The system is on order. I apologize for the interruption. I believe that was him probably giving me an update on the delivery of the
It's
system.
okay.
I talked to the electrician today, who's gonna put in the power requirements for the system. It's a bubble-up system, manufactured in Exeter, New Hampshire. And also in the last water test, it showed, as well as high radon, it showed high iron. So that was taken care of today. We had the contractor, the well water filter contractor, changed the filter medium in the water filter. So that part has been resolved.
Okay.
And then I understand that after the mitigation system is in, that another water test will be required to prove that the radon has been mitigated.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, iron isn't something that the regs require be addressed. It's this secondary standard, so it's, you know, just cosmetic in nature, but doesn't cause any adverse health effects. So really, you know, what the board would be looking at are the primary drinking water standards, which radon is one. And like I said, you know, the board could choose to do it a couple of ways. One would be to put some language in that document that, you know, basically addresses any other contaminants above the maximum or primary standards that are above the max contaminant level will be addressed, as well as the radon. But the radon at this point is still, you know, an assumption based on a test that was done but wasn't done per the regulation requirements.
What type of well is it?
What type is it? Drilled well.
165 feet.
Is it drilled well 165?
Gavin, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't mind a three-party agreement, but like Rick said, just to cover all the bases, that agreement needs to include all the primary standards for drinking water, not just the on piece.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You gotta remember, this is gonna be good for the duration of the property, which will go on for years.
Right.
So every time this conveys, this is gonna have to be re-examined, retested.
Is that every time it's sold or every?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
that's-
something to think about.
Yeah,
'Cause
Well, yeah, not any different than any other property though.
yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. What do you want to make a motion?
I haven't decided in my own mind yet how to do this.
Yeah.
I know they wanna have the closing, et cetera, but sometimes we're better off to have the results before we make the move.
It certainly make kind of the expectations more defined,
Yeah.
but,
Is there, remind me of the procedure for occupancy on a transfer of property, Rick?
So we looked through the last agreement and it didn't mention that at all. Yeah, so you've allowed occupancy with the resolution that, or with the requirement that they resolve it within that 60-day period after closing.
And we just did one since I've been here, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
at 100 Warren Road, I believe. I want to say it was last year.
How old is the well?
The well,
Yeah, how old is it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, it predated us, and we've been here 37 years.
Okay, so it's been around for a long time, okay. All right, so it's not a new well that could
No.
develop other problems, it's been around, so whatever we get out of there is gonna be a real McCoy.
Yep. So do we want to put in this that, let me think of the best way to word this.
What would the other elements be that would be tested?
So bacteria, arsenic, lead, there's some volatile organic compounds. Let me go through the list here.
I think the valid water test showed that coliform was absent.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about the nitrogen.
so it would be coliform, bacteria, arsenic, lead, chlorine, nitrates, nitrites, radon, benzene, carbon tetrachloride, dichloroethylene, 1,2-dichloroethylene, p-dichlorobenzene, trichloroethylene, 1,1,1-trichloroethane, vinyl chloride, you have a bunch of the VOCs. I can keep going.
That's 3 pages.
I know.
All right, how about, this is my proposal to the board. That, we accept, the buyer and the seller's proposal to take care of this. That should include all towns and water regulations pass before, how do we put
Well,
that?
it won't, they won't pass, so, really just that whatever, primary drinking water standards come back above the limit set by the Townsend Board of Health well regulations will be resolved within 60 days of closing.
There you go.
Whatever
Yes.
system is necessary.
Yes, thank
I
you.
like that one, Rick.
Well, I'm trying.
Yeah, you can. I'll, use Rick's
Yeah.
description as my motion.
Can I get a second?
Repeat that, I'm sorry, can you have Rick repeat that, please?
So it would be that any primary drinking water standards that are above the limit as set by the Townsend Board of Health well regulations will be resolved within 60 days after closing.
And you will check on that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, can I get a second, Kevin?
One more question, sorry.
That's okay, that's what we're here for.
Rick, what's the likelihood of like a gross failure, like an extreme failure where, there's maybe a potential for the buyers to say, hang on, there's some random contamination going on underground?
Yeah, there's like one time I can think of when that type of a situation came up out of, at this point, probably well into the hundreds of tests. So somewhat unlikely based on past experience, but, I suppose it is a possibility.
Yeah, the well is over 40 years old, so it's well seasoned.
Right.
And hopefully we will have results back before they actually close, which is Wednesday next week.
Which, if you get them, you will shoot us all an email and let us know?
Sure, yep.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about the items that will be tested? It sounded to me like most of the elements that you mentioned were chemical pollutants.
Yeah.
For the record, the property is not officially qualified as an organic area, but we have not used any chemicals. There have been no chemicals present or spread on them, anywhere on the property, let alone near the well.
Yeah.
And then the nitrites,
Nitrates and nitrates,
that
yeah.
from fertilizer?
It could be, it's a human waste indicator too, so it can indicate,
Okay,
but you had looked at those as part of your initial test as well.
okay. That's another thing we have not been doing is fertilizing. So there shouldn't be any runoff into the well.
Yeah.
My motion stands with Rick's statement.
Okay, Gavin,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye, there you go. Okay, Rick, you gonna draw that up, for us?
I think that their attorney should, but I'm
Okay.
happy to talk with them.
Do you want this up too, my notes?
Sure.
I'm gonna keep one.
What's
I'll
up?
keep this for the minutes.
You want that one and
I
I
was
can
gonna say,
have
you wanna
one?
keep that one,
Yeah.
and do it on that one?
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't matter, you can keep both, I can just reprint it.
That's okay, hang on, what was yours?
Excellent.
Okay, so we will move on. And we are at mandatory referral for 227 Mason Road, proposed commercial dog kennel. That's
So,
me. That is you.
That's me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So I had put this on here, because really, there wasn't a ton of information as far as how the business was gonna operate other than what it was. And, my concern when we look at these is always, what wastewater is gonna be associated with the use. And so I had pulled the septic permit, which was from 1982. And the system was designed for a 3-bedroom house and a 25 pupil day school. And so is the house still 3 bedrooms?
Are you sure it wasn't 4 bedrooms?
That's what
Like
the-
oversized?
That's what they had on the permit was, a 3-bedroom house and 25 people.
I think we went over this when we moved in, when you found the ancient plans from back in the 80s. And after reviewing them at that point, I don't remember the technical terms of it, but after the actual plans were reviewed, it was deemed that it was oversized to accommodate this children's daycare at the time.
So,
But nothing is, there's no proposed changes to any of this. This is just for clarification.
yeah, so they had, accommodated, it was 3 bedrooms plus
Or,
the day school.
sure, yeah.
And so-
But there's been no bedroom changes.
So
or
it's still a
anything.
3-bedroom house?
Yeah, it's like a 3 bedrooms and an office kind of deal.
Okay. And so, really the question would be, is the proposed kennel use equivalent to the 25 pupil day school? And typically what Title V requires for anything other than a single-family home, the code was different in 1982, but today it would require at least a multi-compartment tank. And the system is designed the same way, but that would be something that today's code would require.
So you, obviously he has to bring it to code, because. it's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be a
what you
big-
guys, so if somebody was doing like an in-law apartment where the system was adequately designed, but they were going from single-family use to something other than single-family use, then you would require a Title V inspection, which I believe you did when you purchased the property.
Yeah, it's about 3 years
And
old.
then, you would require them to upgrade the tank if it wasn't already a 2-compartment tank or tanks in series.
Yeah,
And that's what you've done in the past.
yeah,
Um,
which we probably should do here also.
And so, how many, I can't remember in here, did it say how many dogs you plan to have?
On average, between 12 and 15 per day. I mean, it really fluctuates a lot based on like holidays and stuff like that, but the maximum that we've ever had and that we would continue to have would be 30.
You have a business there now?
Well, not currently because
Oh,
we're not
okay.
operating because of this, but yes, we did,
Okay.
we did. I mean, this was never an intention to be a you know, full-blown business. I'm a general contractor myself. We just kind of fell into this with this, after moving into this home that had this giant space that used to be a daycare. So fast forward to now, we've got a big group of, you know, clientele that they're basically now all friends that we watch their dogs whenever they go away, or some clients are just for daycare. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, but it really fluctuates. There's no, I guess you could say the average is 12 to 15, but some days we have 1 or 2 dogs. And then, like I said, big holidays could be upwards of 25 to 30. But I wasn't sure how one of the reasons I'm here was to answer some of these questions and then to kind of figure out like the applicability to,
So,
like, we don't have children in there, you know, using the bathroom or drinking water and stuff like that. It's,
Hang on 1 second.
so I think, you know, one of the biggest questions, and it's come up before when we've had the hearings with like, we did Norma's Corner that's in Harbor, the Harbor Mall, and,
The
we
lady
did
up
some dog
yeah.
grooming places. The big question is always, you know, how do you, are the dogs gonna be inside or outside? Or a combination of both?
both, I mean, weather depending.
And then, you know, when they're inside.
There's
how
a
are
set
they-
of plans too that.
Yeah, I did, they're attached on here. So it had shown,
Oh,
in
you're
the house.
probably not gonna be able to see anything on.
It's a little bit smaller, but yeah, I mean, it shows where your parking's gonna be.
So there's basically a big fenced-in area that was like a little playground that is essentially the dog run area outside now, completely fenced in.
And so.
And then there's a series of, it's kind of compartmentalized on the inside. There's one big area that used to be the daycare. And then on one end is where the old preschool used to be. So we have another kind of compartment on that side, and then the main house is, it's a really funky thing.
I have a question for you, and not to really be a pain in your ass, but you're creating a business that doesn't exist there, is that correct?
Well, not legally, apparently.
Yeah.
We were under the impression that because,
Well,
there was a
You
daycare,
you are
you know.
creating a business.
yeah,
We have rules about change of use that you would have to
Right.
go through planning. You'd have to go through conservation to check to make sure that you're in the right places.
yeah, we have that pending, there's
So,
an
yeah, the
application
reason
pending.
the mandatory referrals are in is because he's got applications with both the
Oh,
ZBA
okay.
and.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know this, I only read what I see here, that's
Neither did I.
why I asked the question.
I wasn't sure of the
Yeah,
proper procedure and who you talk to first, and then I spoke to Carla earlier and figured out that I should probably be here.
yeah, oh yeah.
To talk to you guys.
absolutely, Yeah,
I thought I had to wait until after the hearings. I'm not too savvy on the
Yeah.
procedural stuff with
Yeah.
this. But
wow, 30 dogs,
And
that's a
so-
lot of dog manure.
So I guess that's.
that brings me to
Yeah,
some of
The
the,
question is kind of that piece
Yeah.
of it, you know, when they are inside or outside, you know, what do you plan to do with all the waste that they generate?
so we compost everything now. We've been doing it since we moved in.
yeah.
We have a 3-bin system now.
Did you buy local bins?
No, I built these. I know, we never would've gotten away with the small bins for that.
I'm just saying, we sell bins.
I know it. We might pick up a couple of them, but we've had pretty good luck.
Center, you can pick them up.
We've had good luck with the, I have like a 3-bin pallet system, so it's about 48 square feet, almost 200 cubic feet, and that's been more than enough. Having the 3 bins helps us out in the winter time, when it takes a little bit longer to really process, but we haven't really had an issue with
Yeah,
that.
I have a question for Rick. Now, we have a manure management plan for horses.
Yeah,
Do we have anything for kennels? Because we don't
no.
really have any
I-
kennels in town.
I printed this off, this was a link on the Townsend, I think it was the health department page. This is from the USDA, It's just a couple pages, but it specifically addresses composting for dog waste.
Yeah.
They did some studies, I think, back in the early 2000s up in Alaska, where they've got these dog teams, so
Like
it's,
a long way off, man, completely different,
well, I mean,
environment.
it's pretty generic, the way that everything's temperature based. I mean, this is not my forte,
Right.
I'm a contractor, but this is pretty basic stuff that I
Yeah.
found that was linked to the town page, so. And everything that's in here is basically what we're doing. We've got, this actually says that you wanna have 10 to 20 dogs on average, minimum, to get the proper ratios for, to get basically.
Can
big
we have a
enough pie.
copy of that?
You can have this one, I just printed it off.
Okay.
And like I said, this is a link that I found on the town health department page. Now, I don't know if there's maybe an updated version of that, but that was just the one that I found, like I said, from the USDA. Because I know that was a big thing. Another thing to address the other compost materials is we also have ducks and chickens. So we recycle straw and hay from other local farms or local small horse barns, basically, that have either hay or straw that either the quality is not good enough for the horses, or it might be too dusty, something like that. So we usually get a lot of stuff donated to us once or twice a year. That also factors into the composting that we do, along with, regular household stuff, but
How many acres do you have?
4.4,
4.4?
yeah. I would have brought a set of the plans, they probably have it right down I think the town clerk has all the copies of them. I wasn't 100% sure how much everybody would know about this, at this meeting, so I didn't bring my copy.
And then so when they're inside and like a dog pees on the floor, is it getting picked up and sanitized or?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it's getting thrown in the trash?
Pretty much what we use, so everything inside is carpeted except for one little square that's like a old linoleum. Everything we do is just with dish soap. We try to steer clear of chemicals. The one chemical that we do use is called Rescue. It's the same stuff they use at the animal hospitals. My fiance is a vet tech over at Tufts in Grafton, and they use this stuff to sanitize basically everything in the hospital. And that kills all the common bacteria for dogs. I mean, human stuff too, but in particular the nasty stuff like parvo and kennel cough, those kinds of things. It's another laundry list of stuff that it kills, like you were reading off earlier. That's really the only chemical that we use. We try to use just like Dawn dish soap and stuff like that. Once a month, we'll come in and we'll shampoo the carpets, just to kind of really scrub anything out. It's usually sand and stuff that they'll track in from outside. I mean, it's like a commercial carpet like this. It's not,
Not a high pile.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend, artificial turf, be easy to clean.
We've thought about it. We've thought about doing rubber, but now everything is just so expensive, and of course we're not operating now either, so we have no income until we get this sorted out.
No income, you're a contractor, and your wife's a vet tech.
She's a human nurse too. I know.
Yeah.
But this is something that really wasn't anything substantial until just this year when it really blew up, and I shifted my focus to this.
Yeah, do you wanna take a look at this at all?
Please.
Yeah. Gavin, I just passed to Jim. It's basically a pamphlet from Alaska on how to compost dog waste.
Yeah, I've read that one. That's pounds a page.
Yeah, okay.
There's really no difference between regular composting,
Yeah.
not that I could tell.
How far are these compost bins gonna be from your house?
I could show you on the plans, but they're basically behind where our duck and chicken coops are.
I mean,
So
are we
it's-
talking 10 feet?
No,
50
we're talking
feet?
like 100+ feet away from the house,
Right.
and probably about that from the well,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, because it does say in there that, you know, it can cause allergies, it can cause, disease and stuff like that, so my concern is that, you know,
We don't want it right
you don't
next
want
to
it
the
right next to
front
anything, you
door.
don't want it near your chickens, you don't want it, you know, near your dogs, obviously, because you don't wanna create a problem on that. I think, to the board, this is now our second, so to speak, dog kennel. I think we need to work on some maybe regulations for, either compost removal or storage of dog waste. I know we don't have any.
I think we ought to talk to some abutting towns that already have them set up and see
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Okay, but I think we need to do something, because you are our second one this year. And, I hate to say we kinda caught with our pants down, because, you know, we don't have any regulations for it.
Yeah,
And, we will look into it, and we will have to let you know apparently.
okay.
But,
We just assumed that that was a better route to go than having some kind of a dumpster or
we
shoving this
we
off
have,
somewhere.
we have no idea.
How close are your neighbors?
The actual house itself,
Well,
or,
are they gonna be happy with all the barking of the dogs, or are they gonna be?
we've been doing this for 3 years. I don't think maybe one time we had a complaint because I left some windows open at night and we had a dog that was barking.
Alright,
But other than that, as far as I'm aware, I don't believe anybody is gonna have a complaint towards this. This is, you know, I hate to say it, but this isn't like we're proposing to do this for the first time. We've been doing this since we moved in. We weren't aware that, you know, like I said, we didn't treat this like a business. This was more of a hobby for us. But
You're turning it into a business.
yeah, now it's like, we gotta do things the right way,
Yeah.
but hopefully as quickly as possible.
when are
We
your
have
other
a
two,
lot of unhappy people right now.
when are your other two meetings, how far out are they, when's conservation?
One of them is next week, and I believe that's the ZBA,
Yeah. You gotta be at least 2 weeks out for conservation then.
and yeah, exactly. On October 3rd is the planning board, I believe. Conservation, I just met with today at the house to do a site visit. They really didn't seem to be concerned about really much of anything. I
Okay.
think primarily because, and we specifically brought up the compost bins when I showed them. Because I wasn't sure whose, you know, jurisdiction that would be.
Yeah.
And they kind of led me to believe that you
That
would
would
be
be
more.
us, yeah.
Yeah, right.
What is it that you're actually looking for from us today?
I'm just here to answer any questions. I mean, my goal is to get whatever the town requires for this special permit
Yeah.
to be approved so we can start operating again.
So I've got it,
I-
I put it on the agenda, and
Yeah.
the reason is because we've got to supply comments to the ZBA and to the planning board prior
Right.
to their hearings. And so it's really to see what you guys want to comment on.
Okay.
And how you want to do that.
I think, Gavin, do you have any questions?
I do, what is the address again?
227 Mason Road.
Do you know what the zoning is over there?
RA?
RA, which is
Residential.
Yeah,
residential,
RA3
agricultural.
is what they've got.
That's up past the Four Farm?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on the New Hampshire line.
Oh, right.
Residential district, aquifer protection.
Aquifer protection.
Yeah.
And I've been leaning on the path of starting to do some site visits for a couple of these things.
Did you guys not get an invitation from, oh,
No, we did not.
I'm kind of feeling like I wouldn't mind a site visit. I think it's beneficial to the board.
I'm all in favor of that.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I agree. I think literally everybody else has been,
Yeah.
I mean, there was like 12 or 13 of them just the other day that were
Yeah.
here.
We're like the black sheep of the family. Nobody likes us,
Nobody
so-
cares about
No.
health department, huh?
No.
No, I agree. I think it's a lot easier to kind of get the lay of the land when you're seeing it in person rather than just looking at, you know, a set of plans with a bunch of lines on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're elected officials, they're appointed officials, that's one of the big differences.
Gotcha.
and, you know, my feeling is I hear 30 dogs, that's a lot of dogs.
That's only like
That's-
2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, that's like major holidays. That's not, see, that's why I don't, the dynamic of this is very inconsistent. I mean, there's weeks that we'll have 3 or 4 dogs come in the whole week. But then, like I said, during major holidays, Thanksgiving, you know, 4th of July, Memorial Day, those kind of big ticket holidays, it can get pretty busy.
Right?
That's an arbitrary number that we just threw out there. I mean, there might
Sure.
be, the animal control officer may have some calculation that she says, well, based on the square footage, this is really the max amount, and we'll say, okay, that's fine. But to your point that you said, you know, the lack of regulation, I don't know that, you know, there is a specific regulation out there or not. That I'm just ignorant towards that.
So, yeah,
So
for-
that's arbitrary. That's not me telling,
Yeah.
you know, this is what we're gonna do. That's just what we've
Okay, hang
done.
on one
For,
second.
for the Board of Health, as far as your regulations that are in place, it would be Title V, and then it would be the Mass General Law nuisance regulations, so it is the business, you're producing any nuisance conditions, or, you know, if they are, or if there's the potential, can you abate them? So, noise, dust, odor.
Okay,
Why don't we table this for the next meeting so we can think on this and possibly do a site visit so we have a lot more information to
So,
work with.
at least for the one coming up,
Schedule a site visit, so we're not wasting.
Schedule a site visit? Yeah, the 3 of us together at the same time?
Rick needs
So-
some comments.
so yeah, for the August 17th one for the ZBA, those need to go in just because I'm assuming you're not gonna do the site walk before then.
When is it?
August 17th, or sorry, September 21st.
Let me, hang on a second.
that's next Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
Is there a chance we can go over Saturday? Cause I gotta go to the dump anyway, so I'll be headed that way.
We
That's
have to
fine.
be able to post it, so,
Oh, yeah, 48 hours, that would.
you've got 48, if you wanna do something on Saturday, you could, I am not
If
available.
you guys are available.
That's next Wednesday.
Saturday, the
Oh, Saturday.
17th.
You said 21st, didn't you?
Oh, that's when
That's when
the
the hearing is.
hearing is.
So, Chris is looking at a site visit maybe on Saturday.
Okay, all right. I can do
Gavin,
that
can you
Saturday.
do Saturday?
I cannot, no.
Oh, how about Sunday?
Uh,
I cannot.
Okay, how about Monday? The
It's gonna have to
19th.
be late, I gotta work.
Everybody else came at night. I
Yeah,
think it was 6 or 7, something.
My next open day is the 22nd.
That's after the meeting.
But we can still provide some notes for the ZBA and let them know, what our thought is, and let them know we're gonna do a site visit. We can still give them what we think and how we feel at this point, correct?
I mean, I think that you can address, you know, some things generically, so, you know, the business can't create a nuisance. They've gotta meet with the Board of Health to, determine that the septic system is adequate for the proposed use, and that, you know, site walk has been scheduled, and they'll ultimately require, an approval for a change of use from the Board of Health before they could operate.
Right, that's sufficient in my eyes in terms of giving them information that they need. Now they know what our plan is, how to deal with this.
Okay.
You good with that, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time on the 22nd?
All right, so,
Anytime the 22nd between 8:30 a.m. and I had a hard stop at 1 p.m. So I could do anytime between 8:30 and 1 p.m.
I'm gonna be working.
Yeah, we gotta do ours at night. I'm gonna be busy too during the day.
And then I could do, let's see, 3, I'm back by 3:15 to, I gotta leave at 5, so I got a hard stop at 5. I'm back from that, typically 6:30, so I could do a 6:30, on the 22nd also.
I can work with a 6:30.
6:30 it is.
6:30.
Was that working for the owner applicant?
That's
As we all
fine.
invade your property without.
We got nothing going on right now, so.
Oh, excellent.
I
Thank
used
you.
to say, you know, watch out for the dogs, but.
Yep. All right, Gavin,
How's that
put
for you,
yourself
Rick?
on your
I
calendar for
can't, I got a
6:30
meeting that night.
on the 22nd.
Okay, but I think that they'll be
Yeah.
okay with.
Yeah, we're just doing a site walk. It's
Yeah,
not
just,
really-
I've been to the property before, not
Okay.
since they've
Yeah.
operated it, but
Yeah.
I've been there before.
Okay,
You,
excellent.
you met with me out there to show me the septic plans
Okay.
before we,
Yeah.
moved in.
Excellent,
Oh,
okay.
Actually, going back to the,
Okay, so then we just
The
got
Title
to
V.
do
Yeah.
the,
is there, based on the Title V that we got when we moved in, is there a way to review that and see ahead of time whether or not anything needs to change with that?
Yeah, that'll
You
be
mentioned-
really their decision, but I would say that, based on past decisions they've made for changes of use from residential to something other than residential, they've typically required at a minimum that the tank would be replaced, with a multi-compartment tank.
So it's safe to assume that we don't have that now.
You don't, yeah, so right
Okay.
now, the permit says a 1,500 gallon septic tank,
Okay,
so, which means that if he, to stay the same, he'd have to do a 2,000 gallon tank, a 1,500?
So it could be,
500?
it could be a 1,500 gallon, so it was, 330 plus 250 would be, 580 gallons. So, the 1,500 gallon 2 compartment tank would be tight, they are sometimes a little bit bigger than what they say. But you need, the first compartment would have to be a minimum of, 1,100 and
So you're almost
Three.
looking at, now, do they, I don't know, do they make like 1,000, 1,100, 1,200? No, it's,
They make a 2,000 gallon, 1/3, 2/3, 1/3, so it'd be,
1,500, 500, basically.
Yeah, so
yeah.
can he add a 500 gallon tank to his existing
He
system?
he could put a 1,000 gallon tank after it, 500 wouldn't be big enough.
It's not enough, okay.
Yeah, so it'd be,
So it'd almost.
That would be the same as our old
Yeah.
systems.
so 580, and the requirement is that the first tank or compartment be 2 times the daily flow, which would be, 1,160 gallons.
Yeah, so you're
And
looking
that
at
the second be a
1,500
minimum
gallon
of
tank.
580.
And to make that upgrade is also going to make your septic system much more practical to function. It's gonna give you a lot more longevity for your leach field.
okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had for systems, and we're working on going back to that similarity. But the best way is
That's what
to
you need.
put that 1,000 gallon tank in.
Yeah.
If you got the room between your existing tank and the D-box, how's it drawn?
I don't have the
This is,
drawing with me
this
tonight,
is
just
outside
the
of my expertise here.
Yeah, that's okay,
Well,
that's why we're
that's
here.
what- Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah.
What Jim does.
Okay.
So
That's good.
just to clarify, that would happen obviously prior to the getting a new Title V, that would have to happen?
So
Or
it would
is
be
it-
up to them whether they were willing to accept the one that had been done previously for your
Gotcha.
purchase.
Officially,
But yeah,
Okay.
ultimately they'll have to make that determination, and I don't know if they're willing to right
No, he
now
doesn't.
or after the
It's a
site.
pre-existing
Gotcha.
condition.
No
There should
problem.
be a copy of that.
I'm just trying to figure out
Oh,
the,
you talking
you
about
know,
his original?
the steps
Yeah,
here.
so
This
then
is
we
all
know the
new to
D-boxes.
me.
Yeah, you have the original drawing.
I have the original permit here.
Carla,
No, he doesn't have
Oh,
the
you don't have
drawing.
the
You gotta
drawing.
get the drawing, Carla.
I'm still going to get the drawing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought he had that with him.
No.
No, I
Oh,
just
no.
have just the permit
Yeah.
from,
But if the
When-
drawing's in there, that tells us what he's got for distance from the tank to the D-walk.
Yeah.
To make sure there's room to put the 1,000-gallon tank in.
Right.
yeah, it looks like there's a pump too.
Oh,
Oh,
is the pump chamber in there
tank?
too?
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that adequately take care of it then?
Pump chamber doesn't count as storage capacity, it's
That's
just a,
the fact
just a
also.
pump
That
chamber.
was a silly statement. What are you laughing at, Gavin?
That was fun.
That was funny. So, all right, so he's got a pump-up system, right? Obviously.
That's what the permit says, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look,
Uh-huh.
it's an original blueprint. Not really.
I'm not sure.
There's no as-built here though.
That's the only, I do have an original permit and I have a Title V from 2001.
Yeah, just a proposed plan.
Yeah, this isn't an as-built.
Alright.
Wow.
Nothing in there. When was it installed?
Was there even an
81.
engineering? Oh, there is an engineering study. Use the D-blocks. Well, D-blocks is like this, so here's a route to.
Okay, so that's what your trench.
I don't know if you only got 10 feet between those.
Yeah, there's a
6 feet.
different septic permit, so the one that was actually signed is the other.
1982, wow. Where were you in 82?
Not here yet.
I was in the junior prom. I was not prom queen.
Okay, back to seriousness here.
I remember the first app.
So this is only showing 10.6 between the two tanks.
Village Square.
That's showing 5 feet.
Between the,
That is the as-built
that's the
from,
septic.
Yeah, so what they, if they were to
There's your
stack
D-box
like
way
that,
out there.
they'd really have to like end up putting it on the side and then come back down. The concern would just be if they have enough pitch after you do all that.
Can you,
yeah,
can
same
he
thing.
just,
Okay.
if he goes with a new, 2,000-gallon tank,
You just take it out and
just
put it in the
take
same
this and
spot.
just
I don't know what I'm looking at.
put it in the same
You're looking at your
spot?
septic tank.
Because he's still gonna,
Yeah,
I've looked at
he'll have a
every-
2-compartment tank here.
All your
So
pictures
he'll
are
have-
gonna change from the house to the inlet though.
Septic's
That's
the only
that's not
money.
the way you do it.
Don't know?
No,
Okay.
that's not the way you do it. If this is accurate, there's only 5 feet between the two tanks.
Hmm.
There's wiring involved, there's a whole bunch of stuff involved to do this.
Yeah.
You might be better off to pull the tank and put in the bigger tank.
Yeah, that's what
But
I'm
that's still
talking
an
about.
improvement on your septic system. You're gonna get another 15 years out of that septic system doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, pulling this one, leave that,
Yeah.
and put the bigger tank
Right,
right in
it'll
the
still
same
feed in the
place.
side, it's not gonna change the
Right.
elevation, they're gonna maintain pretty much stabilization,
Hmm,
and that would work for them.
no. And that would probably be, I don't know how much tanks cost, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't know the prices currently there
Yeah.
either, but that would be the more practical way to do the upgrade, and the improvement is even if you get rid of the kennel in time, that's still gonna be a better system.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we gotta recommend that you remove this existing tank and put in the larger one, Rick.
You wanna make that decision tonight?
If he's gonna go forward, I don't know why we can't.
Yeah, we should actually.
Yeah.
Gavin, any questions?
I don't think of questions, I mean, I don't know that we have to make that recommendation tonight, but I feel like this may, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be too much to move this forward. But
I kinda, I think that if we can offer some generic comments right now, it still offers you the opportunity to go and do the site walk, to think about it, and then to come back with the owner and, make your determination and what the conditions are if you end up approving it.
Okay, so until the site walk, we're putting it on hold.
I think that makes sense.
So do we, we'll
I
keep this
agree.
on the agenda, do we need to continue this, or this is not a public hearing? I think
We're,
we can just keep it on the
Yeah, it's just a
agenda.
discussion
Yeah.
item, so we'll
right,
keep it on the agenda and come back the next meeting to
Yeah.
see if you're ready to finalize
Yeah,
things.
and then that way we can do our site walk, chat with you,
Yep,
and, we
Okay,
can
and
kinda
I
just
will
take a peek
post
of what's
that
there. You'll
site
still have
walk,
a
will
cover
need to be
somewhere, we'll be able to
posted.
get an idea where it is, and Jim can take a look at it and maybe help you out with that.
awesome.
I used to be an installer.
That's good, because I don't know any local installers.
Yeah, and we could give you a list too.
Even my business is, I'm from Framingham, so most of my stuff is way out.
Yep, that's okay, that's what we're here
Worked in
for, to
Framingham
assist.
a lot.
Guys, I appreciate it, everybody.
I worked in the Bolesworth headquarters,
Oh,
I was on that site when it was built,
wow,
worked in all the Genzyme buildings down there.
uh-huh.
Yep.
I got family that lives right around the corner from there now.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready to move this one?
Yes, okay, so we,
Plan
will
on
see
being
you
here at our
at
next meeting, we'll see you on Saturday.
Yep, we will see you Saturday at
Awesome.
6:30. Okay,
Not staff.
Nope, the 22nd.
22nd, I'm sorry. 22nd of
Yeah,
September.
Thursday, at 6:30.
Yep,
Yes.
gotcha, I already got that written down, Gavin, so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Rick,
appreciate
let's
it,
do our quick, 1.8 COVID update, which we're just looking for numbers for Townsend.
So last reporting was on September 8th. They'll be reporting tomorrow too, but 9 cases in Townsend.
So it's been pretty consistent.
It's been under 10.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And then just the one other update, they came out, we might have talked about this too, but the updated boosters, so they're available now. And they're available to anyone age 12 or older who completed a primary COVID-19 vaccination series or received a booster dose at least 2 months ago.
Are we gonna look into doing one at the library again?
If you want to, I can reach out and see if.
Yeah, see if we can do that, I think that's a good thing for the community. I know that's where I get my boosters, so. Okay, that all you got, Rick?
For COVID, yep.
Okay, we have 1.9, meeting schedule change from Wednesday at 6 to Tuesday at 6.
Now, Tuesday was just talked about because I was polling people individually. Rick didn't seem like that was gonna work for him, correct?
Mondays would be nice to go back to, but I don't know if anybody else,
Gavin, how do Mondays look for you? Gavin?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ignoring you, I don't want.
Alright, well.
Monday's not good for me, so.
Mondays are not good for you either, okay.
I have, I mean, yeah, I'm booked for the next 2 months on Monday nights, right, as we speak right now.
What day are you looking for, Gavin?
I
You only
just,
got Thursday left.
I know,
So you think, you're thinking Sunday morning at about 2
Wrong.
AM?
No.
maybe like 3 AM, yeah.
Now, what was the issue with you, Rick, with Tuesdays?
I could probably make it work. So, Tuesdays are better than Wednesdays.
Tuesdays are better than
Also,
Wednesdays.
you don't like the
Okay.
Wednesdays.
I've been making them work.
Oh, all right, well, no,
And Gavin's not making Wednesdays. Jim seemed to think that Tuesday was okay. I
Yeah.
thought, Gavin, did you say that Tuesday might work, or was I still polling you?
I can do Tuesdays, but,
we could move,
It's gonna be a little while, I have. So, what I typically do is I typically work 12 hours, Mondays and Tuesdays. So I book appointments at 9:30 AM and then at 6 PM, Mondays and Tuesdays, and I'm typically booked out for 3 months on those 2 days.
oh boy.
And then I've got my older 2 kids at home with me, and we're in football season, so Brody gets out at 6 most evenings, so I don't get home until about 6:30, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And
Well, how about changing it to 7 o'clock again?
That would be better, that would be better, but,
We used to always meet at 7 anyway, for years.
Yeah.
On Mondays. So we could do Tuesday at 7. Oh, you can't do that, right, Rick?
Yeah, we'll make it work.
no,
He can't do that. He can't do Tuesdays.
Oh,
He's
we
booked
can't,
out for
well,
months.
then Wednesdays at 7?
I'll defer, Rick, what do you think about Wednesdays at 7?
It's a tough day for me.
Yeah, okay.
You better
Oh,
off
you-
Thursdays at 7?
It seems that Gavin and Rick have the issue that's most of it. Maybe that the two of you need to sit down and talk about your schedule, and then we can work on this, so we don't sit here for a half hour and do, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can
Why don't you guys sit down and talk and let me and Jim know what's available, and we'll discuss it at our next meeting. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's fine. So for me right now, evenings they're gonna be tough.
And when you say evenings, Gavin, do you mean after 6 or do you mean after 4?
Before 6 o'clock, impossible, pretty much. After like 7 o'clock, I could make it work. I can make it work. I'll just have to rearrange some work. You know what I mean? If we kept this long term, if we kept it on Mondays or Tuesdays, that would be better, probably for me. It's just so tough because my life is just so, like, week to week, literally. Other than booking tattoos and having kid obligations, like, it's just a nightmare to schedule.
So basically, if we could settle on a day and a time, you'd do your best to arrange your schedule to,
Right. It's just gonna take me a little while to get to that point.
so
Because
you're basically looking at Mondays and Tuesdays, you're booked out for how many months?
2 months right now.
2 months, so you're looking at probably November.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Kelly.
So, I think that Rick and I were both talking about longevity, and I hear Gavin saying it would be really great if we could get into some schedule, but he needs a couple of months to actually make that work.
Yeah.
So, and it sounds like we're facilitating this meeting very nicely, where you're calling in, you can hear us, I can take my cell phone, move it to the other people that are around. You're local, if I need to bring a plan to you, a full-size plan, I can bring it to you. If it pleases the board, I think that we should keep the Wednesdays right now, Rick, at least for the next couple of months, is what we're doing right now.
That
No.
look of horror on his
No,
face?
the look
I
of,
mean, yeah, I'll try
Yeah,
to make it work. I'll
no,
do the best I can, yeah.
I don't think that'll work for,
okay, so that's not gonna work, okay,
Let me
so,
just, why don't I give Gavin a call and we'll talk about it and
okay,
try to
Yeah.
figure something out that works.
okay,
Something, we just gotta, our next meeting is still gonna be at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday.
is it gonna be Wednesday, or is it will be on Wednesday, the 28th then?
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
is everyone all right with that?
Gavin?
I mean, right now, I gotta make it work, so I'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll either call or I'll be in, but,
All right, I don't see a huge problem right now with you calling in.
well, I don't like it.
I know you don't, but whereas we wanna make sure that we can give the public enough time for the next meeting schedule.
Yep.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna work at least for now, and then you're gonna get into the holiday season and people are gonna be messed up anyways, but I think it would be really crucial for all of us to really look at going forward to 2023, having a set schedule.
Yeah, it's just easier for everybody once we get,
If it's food for thought, when I'm in Florida, Monday nights are fine.
when you're in Florida, any day's fine.
All right,
And Chris, you work 5 days a week now, typically?
Yeah,
Okay.
for now, but my job is hit or miss.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we have 2 kitchens, we're working on a building in Westford now. God knows what's gonna come up in between. So we're just kind of, you know, whenever somebody needs something, we're there.
Yep, okay. Yeah, so, Rick, are you in the office tomorrow?
I am, yep,
What time again? I'm sorry.
between 1 and 2.
Okay,
But this office?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he'll be here.
yeah. Okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow
Okay.
at
Yeah.
some point.
So the only one you don't like is Monday nights, Jim. All right, so we'll have to work another night, other than Mondays. I'll be available any night that I have to be here. So I'll let you, you and Rick figure out any night you want other than Monday. How's that sound?
Okay,
All right, and we'll try and pick one that works for everybody.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay,
All right?
okay.
All right, so let's move to 110. That's the Leominster Tobacco Alliance
Rick?
contract, and I know that I can explain to you guys what happened is that they got, was it Pepperell and Shirley have joined. So what we need to do is basically just sign up again.
Yes, it's no cost.
Yeah,
And
it's
Rick
just
needs to
letting
put it on
everybody know.
as the agent, and then the chairman needs to sign, so I figured it would be great to have it
Yeah.
as an agenda item. Transparency is always good,
Yep,
and Rick would be here and you would be here.
yep.
And Gavin, I did send an email on that, did you see that?
I didn't, no.
Okay, it's the Tobacco Alliance has just got Shirley and Pepperell are joining, so they need a new contract signature, so Rick and Chris Nocella are signing.
Okay.
Okay, it's actually a free, great service to us, you know how much they do for the town.
What happened with the Honey Farms?
They paid, and that's great, I'm glad that you brought that up, because Jim actually brought that up early.
Yeah.
Yes, they paid their fine, and they went with their 7-day suspension,
and
and
it's
everything was okay.
already happened, it's already
Oh, it's already happened and over.
Yeah.
The money's
Yeah.
deposited.
I have the same question, Gavin.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, okay, so that's
Change
that.
that to the 28th again.
Yes.
Oh, we're
Yes.
going to the 28th, 29th?
No, that's what she's got on this paper.
Right, right, but we did clarify it, that
Yeah,
it's the
so
28th.
we're on the
Okay.
28th is where we're going.
Yes,
Jesus,
yes,
I'm all confused.
At
okay,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yeah,
And I'll see you tomorrow, Rick, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Excellent.
Okay, so our next
Okay.
thing now, we're gonna do is invoices. Carol.
Invoices, okay.
Night, guys.
Good night, thanks,
Good night,
Rick.
Okay, so you have your second quarter with Neshoba Board of Health, which is a contract, so everything stays the same. You have Weston and Sampson, some fall sampling, all reports came out great. Shepherd's had mowed the landfill as well. Continue to get numerous compliments on
Yeah,
the landfill and how great it looks. We have our grant sign for the recycling center update, which I think we're gonna talk about at the next meeting.
what's that, Carol? I'm sorry. you missed that?
The recycling grant.
I
wanna
don't
talk
even
about
know
that
if I
now?
really, I think I would. Basically, guys, I already signed that one, I was gonna go to Jim. Basically, guys, this isn't gonna work for us. Basically, what's gonna happen is that basically, the way we understood it was that the dirty mattresses we were gonna throw in the bin with all the furniture and stuff like that. But under the state regulations, they are now considered hazardous waste and cannot be thrown in that bin. So, we told the guys they didn't have to touch them if they're dirty, and we we're basically not gonna be able to accept them because we cannot dispose of them. If we do this, I have a feeling that we are going to end up rejecting 90% of the mattresses that come in, which I personally am afraid that people are just gonna dump them down the road on their way out.
There's one down on the town line right now.
Is there yet? You know, I mean, it would be nice to accept this and get a nice new container and keep the ones that, you know, are good. But also, I think, Kyle, you did some research and found out that they send back mattresses that are bad?
I had a meeting with Glenn Shaw today, and he was speaking to AKS Recycling, which is where the recycling, he takes his, and he informed me that out of 100 mattresses, about 85 were returned to one specific municipality saying they were dirty, and they didn't want to take them. So what's going to happen is, what are we going to do with those mattresses if they are returned to us? Because we can't take trash at the recycling center.
Yeah, that's gonna be a serious problem because where we are a recycle center and they can't be recycled, they become trash and we can't take trash. What do we do with them?
Glenn has been talking to me, he's been working with AKS Recycling, he has not come up with an answer. So, we'd like to continue this. At this point, his recommendation is to continue with the grant, buy the container, and if we have to report and we don't have any mattresses that we accepted, it's just that we don't have any mattresses that are in the condition that they can be recycled. So, but what the problem is what happens with the mattresses that people bring to the recycling center, they put them on their truck, they load them down there, and then we say, I'm sorry, they're too dirty, we can't take them. And then I don't even have a place to say where, and then they're gonna say, well, where can I take them? And I'm gonna have to say, well, you're gonna have to hire a private dumpster, someone like Shaw's, to come haul them away. So this is all very new. We're still trying to figure it out. Where you have the $10,000 for a container, the other thing to remember is you're only obligated to use it for the purpose for 3 years. So if you buy a container and you don't get any mattresses, you're still using it for the purpose. If you don't get any mattresses that are recyclable, you're still trying to use it, and then after 3 years, you don't have to use it for mattresses anymore, and then you can use it for whatever you want. Which is how we would have required the one for the plastic and the wood and the bulbs and the tires and the propane.
Understand?
As the Board of Health representatives, I think it's in our best interest to go through with getting this container and handling the situation after the fact. And if we've gotta find a way to get the money to pay Shaw to get rid of them, take them to the dump and dispose of them, that's what we're gonna have to do. Cause there's already one right there on the town line,
See,
the great big thing is, did you see it? It's thrown into the brush.
And we accept them.
Yeah.
But the thing is
We're
that
better off
we
to have them in that
can't,
container than on the side of the
but we
road.
can't take trash starting November 1st. They're gonna be trash, so it's not, we can't just say, oh, it's not recyclable, we're gonna throw it into the bulky, because then what happens is when Glenn goes to dispose of the bulky container, they're gonna have to have a guy that goes in there and takes out every single one of those mattresses. It's like if there was tires in the bulky container. Tires are not allowed, we have a separate container for those. So he will end up having to take out those mattresses, then he will have to charge us extra. So it's really something that the recycle market is looking at. They're trying to work with Mass DEP to find out what's acceptable right now. So until that happens, I think.
We can't even get rid of them, Jim, we can't even accept them.
Then we're
No,
gonna,
you can up until
gonna
November
have to-
1st.
No, I mean, talking afterwards.
we're gonna have to talk to council and send something to the recycling lady there and tell them, we gotta do something with these things, you gotta figure out a problem with
Well,
them.
we already met with Irene, and that's where she said that it could go into the bulky, which is
It's not
not
gonna
true.
work,
It
so
can't.
her information wasn't valid.
So, but I do have confidence that Glenn is working at the best of his ability, and that we should continue with purchasing the grant. Chris and I looked at the container.
Yeah,
The container that I looked at was
Yeah.
definitely large enough that the skid steer could pick up the
it's 8 feet,
mattresses
it's 8 feet wide, so it'll
and
definitely.
drive them in, so they wouldn't have to
Yeah.
touch them at all.
Yeah.
The problem that I have though is if the residents come and then they drop the container, if they drop their mattresses off and the ground is wet, and then it sits there, the person drops the mattress off at 7:30, they come in, they've got a wet mattress, or it's not wet because we can't accept wet. So it's not wet, but the ground is wet. The recycling employees say, okay, drop it right here, and then at the end of the day, they're gonna scoop them up and they're gonna push them in. Well, if
They're
the
gonna
ground
have,
is
they're gonna
wet,
have to do those
so we're
when
gonna
they
have
come
to
in.
get a tarp or
No,
something to
they're
put
gonna have
them
to do
on.
them as they come in, that's what
And
they're
if
gonna
it's
have
raining,
to
they're
do.
still gonna get wet from the top, so
Yeah.
how you
Well,
gonna
if it's
beat
Okay,
raining,
so
you
they're
can't
gonna-
accept them,
So, and that's it.
yeah, you
That's
just
the other
can't
thing,
accept them,
if
Jim.
if it's wet,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest thing about this, the container has to be new, it has to be weather tight. The other thing is you don't wanna have.
So they have a roof on them?
Oh,
Oh, it's,
absolutely,
it's
they
just,
do have a roof on it.
it's just like our other container.
yes, yes,
It's a steel ground level container,
yes.
brand
So,
spanking.
we don't know how many we will find that are in the condition,
Yeah.
but I think that we should move forward with it. Do you have any thoughts, Gavin?
Yeah, what, what is the price for recycling a mattress? If we take this grant on and we're recycling mattresses, what's the price for recycling a mattress?
I don't have that from the companies yet, I'm still waiting on that information. Shaw's charges us by the weight. So right now, I believe we are $92 a ton. So it depends on what is in those 40-yard containers where the mattresses go into. But this will be a different contract. I also have reached out, Raw Material Recovery has said that we have to buy their specific intermodal container, which is not brand new. It's an overseas, I wasn't comfortable with that at all. Rivard out of Chelmsford had a 20-foot container that Chris and I looked at today that was 5,700.
Brand new.
And it's brand new, and as I said, the skid steer can bring them in. So I contacted them, it was probably about 2 o'clock this afternoon, when we looked at it, it was 5:45, and I haven't got the pricing sheet yet. The pricing sheet is gonna depend on how much material we're gonna give them, so the more mattresses we can collect, the less it's gonna be. But they're right out of Fitchburg, and they're gung-ho, so I really think that it could work out to be a good relationship.
And then Glenn said, and then with a mattress does not meet the cleanliness requirement, we can't put it in the bulky dumpster?
We cannot,
Because it becomes trash, and we cannot accept trash. We are a recycle center.
How does the town remove our trash?
well, Shaw's, we have dumpsters around, at the various municipal buildings and the baseball, fields, that Shaw's removes them. But as the recycling center, we are not allowed to accept trash at the center. So even if Glenn said, I'm gonna give you a dumpster and I'm gonna collect the mattresses for nothing, we can't accept them. We just can't accept them at the recycling center unless they are in pristine recycled condition.
Okay. Alright. They're gonna, we gotta figure out a way, like I said before, to make this work.
Mhm.
Cause they're gonna just end up all around town, and we're gonna be taking them in anyway.
And that's actually what social media has said, just don't worry about it, just throw it on the side of the road because the highway department's gonna pick it up because the health department's never gonna allow that. So it's horrible that is what the mentality of residents, around this area are saying. I definitely can tell you that I don't think the police are gonna wanna sit at the end of the driveway to the recycling center when we turn people away and follow the truck that's got the mattress to see if they dump it. I'm certainly not gonna be willing to do that, nor do I think that any board members are gonna be.
But the people that have these bad mattresses have to have a way to get rid of them.
Exactly, and that's what Glenn and I are trying to talk to DEP about, is how are you going to help us with this process? I sat on a 2-hour webinar today about how to use the RDP money, and what I don't think that anyone on that call realizes, we're one of the few recycling centers that's regional. So everyone else was, oh, Fall River, look at what we did, and Fall River's a huge city, and yeah, we can put billboards up, but you don't have everyone from any other town coming
Right.
in.
Yeah,
So
we
we're-
can't afford to billboard Pepperland Groton.
Well, that's it. We're,
Yeah.
we're completely standalone from what I see. I don't know of any other regional recycling center anywhere around. Anywhere.
Yeah, so let me just talk this scenario out, right? If we have a procedure for taking in mattresses that are gonna get recycled, and 3 weeks, so now we own them, and 3 weeks later, half of them get rejected, it's town property or no?
Oh, it'll be town property.
So can we take trash as town property and give it to Shaw's for them to dispose of, or will they not do that?
I don't know. That's one of the questions that Glenn and I were asking in AKS Recycling, which is where he takes his recycling. So these are excellent questions, and we are diligently asking for their help.
Yeah. Because, to me, this kind of seems like they're putting this grant out there, they haven't worked through all the bugs, we're gonna have to deal with it.
Yes.
And if we just interpret it as they're all good, and we're gonna recycle them all, once we say they're good, they're town property, if they get rejected, well, now they're just town garbage.
Yes.
But you have to understand, they're also considered hazardous waste.
Well, I don't necessarily know if they're
there's something.
considered hazardous waste.
What are they considered?
Well, I think that the way that the waistband works is because they figured out that they could be recycled.
Okay.
So they just don't, and the recycling machines are getting clogged because the fibers and the way that the thing works is the coils and everything, when it goes, it clogs everything, so it's not working for the market. So you've got these companies now that tough stuff from, or tough signs from Fitchburg, where you actually have recovering addicts who are joined together in a nonprofit. They're actually ripping apart these mattresses and these box springs to help recycle, and it's giving a lot of people jobs. And I think that you're gonna see a lot of these pop up, I'll help you recycle your mattresses, but right now, it's kind of thrown in our face, and there's gonna be kinks with any new process, any type of an opening. You have a restaurant, it opens, there's gonna be kinks. The first, you're gonna have to figure out what's working and what not. So I think that we're trying to do the best we can. The good news is that we have the grant. I think that we should continue to utilize the grant and get the container. We have been assured that the container, the mattresses can be brought in without touching them.
Yeah, the container is actually 20 feet long, 8 feet wide. King size mattress is 7 by 7, so the machine will be able to drive it right in, and the guys will never have to touch it.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
because I made sure, talking to Kyle, that we got one big enough so that they could drive in and they wouldn't have to touch it.
And so can we charge a little more?
Absolutely, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to, and we're gonna have to look at that once I get the pricing we'll probably have to set another public hearing to address the mattress situation and the fees increase.
Yeah. And I think the fee increase is gonna have to be leveled, because I don't know.
Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know if they're gonna go, all right, a twin size is $50, a full is $60, a queen, you know, we don't know yet, because this is just, it hasn't been done before, you know, so we're kinda trying to work it out.
With the prices, we need to charge right now with the assumption that there's gonna be a percentage that end up as garbage that we then have to pay for to remove.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's part of the, I think, that we need to consider.
Absolutely, and that's what Glenn is asking for prices, I'm asking for prices. We were fortunate enough that we have the new spreadsheet, so we can actually tell them exactly how many mattresses and box springs we are forecasting.
Yep.
We've had that now since 2019,
Yeah.
so that'll be great, we can give them very accurate information.
Is this something that should be just given to towns and residents, or just open to all?
No, you're gonna have
As a
to,
regional
I don't know
thing,
how
I
you
don't
do
think we
that.
can do that.
You could do the non-residents, pay a different fee like you do with the debris. Debris is free for towns and residents, but non-residents have to pay a fee for debris. You could definitely do something like that. Towns and residents are a flat, towns and residents, have no increase in fees, out-of-town residents. But then
No.
you have to understand that then everyone's gonna have to check the ID, and that's gonna take more time.
Hmm.
We're very, very busy down there,
I know, but
so-
this is something that we're gonna have to do. We don't really have a choice.
Well, you're gonna have to increase, but I think
Yeah.
the question is, are we gonna
Can we
increase
go
to
to
everybody
3
or just
employees?
not with the way it's set up this year, because you can only spend $20,000. Remember when we did that,
Yeah,
Veronica
I-
said, don't you come back
Yeah,
and tell
all right,
us
so
that-"
next year, we're gonna put in for an extra 10, because we're gonna need it for another employee. I mean, it's basically our money, it doesn't cost the town anything,
No,
but we're gonna have to have more access to our funds.
Where did the mattress stores get rid of their mattresses when they bring one in and take one out?
Well, this is new, Jim, this is as of November 1st. I have no idea what
they
they're
have
gonna
no
do.
idea what they're gonna do.
They don't know either, no one does. Maybe they're gonna look at it and go, oh, yeah, well, you know, we charge you $50 to set up and take your old one, maybe it goes to 200.
Well,
just
they
'cause
used
they
to,
don't.
it used to be free, if you
Yeah.
buy a mattress,
Yeah.
they'll take away your old one, just like they do the refrigerators.
Yeah,
But I don't know that now that it's a waste bin, I don't know
Mm.
that they're gonna be able to do that now.
yeah,
Well, we bought our last 3 mattresses online, and they showed up via Amazon or UPS or something, so I think that's kind of going away. Where
Okay.
people buy.
yeah, but how do you end up getting rid of your old one, Gavin?
I buy a dumpster from Shaw's and put it in there.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
see? And what,
that's what a lot of people are gonna have to do.
and that's what Glenn is saying, I'm gonna have to charge so much more money now because of this.
Yeah. Or maybe we can set something up to tell people, if your mattress is no good, then call this number and make arrangements to have it picked up at your house. I mean, this is all new to us. It's all new to the whole state, that's the hard part. We can't even go to other towns and see what they did yet, because it hasn't even happened.
Okay, so,
Well, we might as well accept it and hope Glenn can come up with something and,
well, you already did accept it at the
Yeah.
last meeting,
no,
so,
yeah,
I'm hoping that we can continue with that course and just
gonna have to do something.
work with it. I'd hate
Yeah.
to see you lose the opportunity to have a brand new 20-foot container.
Yeah.
I said that at the beginning of the discussion, and I'm gonna be firm there, because we gotta figure out what's gonna happen with them.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna take them, because we don't want them all over the streets, and that's
No.
where they're gonna go.
Yeah.
So we might have to make an exemption to the fact that we are going to have to take a bad mattress, and then we're gonna have to have Glenn dispose of it when he
And
finds out
that's,
where
and
it
that's
goes.
something that he's looking at. What
Yeah.
are we, the question was, what are we gonna do with the mattresses in Townsend?
We're gonna have to recommend he puts an incinerator up there in Greenville next to his recycling center and burns them.
Can't, they banned those in 2010, I think.
They banned them when?
I think 2010.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In New Hampshire?
In New Hampshire, yeah.
I thought it was live free or die.
Yeah.
Live free or.
The real good state is Vermont right now, they're gone green all the way, they don't even want chainsaws or, leaf blowers up there, with gasoline engines.
Oh.
Anyway, that's out of the subject. so go on.
Wow, okay,
Are we
so.
all in favor, Gavin, of signing this thing and accepting this?
Well, you already
You already
did.
did.
Already did, so we're just
Yeah.
gonna sign it and we got it.
You already signed it last meeting, so, I think what Jim's got in his hand though is there's, a $9 invoice, Gavin, that is for,
Oh, yeah.
recycling sticker that has to go on the new container that says, this container was paid in part by a grant provided by Mass DEP.
Yeah, and we actually have to do that.
And we
Yeah,
have to do it, and it's
there's no question there.
$9.
Yeah.
So, Jim's signing it right now,
Yeah.
I signed your name too, Gavin.
and I think that that's just key, just to get that over. The other thing on the agenda is minutes of July, but where Jim left at 7:11 and Gavin's not here, I'd like to.
Yeah, why don't we put that on the next
Ask,
meeting, Colin?
Well, I feel bad because they're from July and it's 2 months ago, and I really think that they should be on the website. So if it would please the board, please, if I could send these to you electronically, and you could send me back an email saying approved,
I can
or
approve it
you
for you
can
right
approve
now.
here,
Yeah.
and then Jim can approve what he has, and Gavin, if you can just send me an email saying you approve, and then I can get them on the website tomorrow, that'd be great.
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Oh, that was after Jim left. I can tell because I seconded it.
And then it goes to 2-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hey Gavin, you got any free time between 4 and 5:30 tomorrow afternoon?
Tomorrow, we're just got a football game.
Oh, too bad, because the Neshoba Board of Health and Air is having a little open house.
Yes, I will be there.
Free refreshments and
going?
drinks.
I have to.
So we're trying to get Chris to go. I think he's gonna try and get out of work at a reasonable hour and be there.
Yeah.
As long as they don't mind me stinky and sweaty.
Probably won't be the only one, it's the Board of Health. All right, anything else, guys?
I don't think so. Let's see, future agenda items. We are still
Mattresses.
stable, yeah, mattresses.
Well, that will be under
That will be
recycling.
definitely, stable regulations are tabled, septic, Jim and Rick are working on,
Yeah, I did
prepared
have a
draft.
brief conversation with Rick
Yeah.
about that when we were over on Turnpike Road.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna find some time to get together and finalize my thoughts, but he's in favor of going back to what we had.
Yeah, okay.
So,
All right, and, you know, we'll bring that for the board and we'll all look at
the
it.
next meeting is the 28th of
The
September.
28th, yes, I have that
Perfect.
written down, the 28th.
Okay,
All right, can I get a motion to
adjourn.
close?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Night.
Aye.
here's the vote.